Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's trip to Dingwall to face Ross County. Before we get into it and look ahead to tomorrow's game, a couple of bits of housekeeping to run through first. We did pass the 44,000 subscriber mark last night, so thank you to everybody who subscribed. And the quicker we can get on to 45,000, the better. That's a nice wee milestone for us to aim for. And also, the video on Sunday, making a video every single day this month. The video on Sunday is going to be a Q&A, so please comment below on this video, and I'll do a community post as well on the YouTube timeline to get your questions in, and I'll run through the best ones on Sunday's Q&A. So we come into this game tomorrow 15 points clear after Rangers failed to win away from home again last night at Dundee, a 1-1 draw. Their dismal away form continues and Celtic's lead is stretched again. So going into that game at Ibrox, 14 points clear and losing it in such a disappointing manner to only 7 days later be one extra point clear and have the lead back at 15. So it's an unbelievable position for us. We've just got to guard against complacency. One of the big elements in Brendan Rodgers' pre-match press conference today was the fixture congestion. The whole football world is dealing with it this year with the introduction of the new Club World Cup, the change in Champions League format and Europa League format. There's so many more games. Scottish football has obviously lost the winter break as well as something that we'd become used to over the years, and I think you even get that sense as a supporter this year that the games just come thick and fast. It's a game every 3 days, and when you're going to the games, you do realise just how much that demands of you as a supporter, let alone as a manager, and even less so as a player. So there is such a demanding load on the players physically to play so many games throughout the season without any real break. And I know we're looking for the intensity to be high, and I'm saying that with this lead, all it's about for Celtic now is just not getting complacent and not just going through the motions. There's no doubt that's going to happen, particularly in the winter. During these congested fixture periods, there is going to be times where the tempo isn't quite as high, and I suppose that's something Brendan Rodgers was alluding to last week with his comments. But I think that's all it's about for Celtic now. We've just got to keep motoring on, guard against complacency, and really with a 15-point gap in the middle of January, we're looking at tying the league up before the split even begins. So it's a great position for the club to be in, and we've just got to keep motoring on. We've got to improve, obviously, this month as well in terms of the key areas, and we're going to come to the key area in a minute, which we've got some injury problems in tomorrow after talking about it all week. So for Ross County, though, they've been in good form by their own standards. Obviously, you're used to Ross County being down there at the bottom of the table, and a lot of people favouring them for relegation, and they have flirted with it in the past couple of years. But to their credit, they've won 3 of their last 4 games, all away from home against Dundee, Aberdeen and Kilmarnock, so they've got some really good results. They've got a wee bit of momentum. They've won 3 of their last 4. In fact, if you compare the last 4 in the league, they've got 1 more point than us, which is a bit of an anomaly. But you know what it's going to be like up there. You go back to the game that we played there already this season. It was 3 or 4 days after we got beaten Dortmund, and we need a late Nicolas Kühn winner to get all 3 points. So small pitch, they defend well, they make the game difficult for you defending deep, and that will be how it plays out tomorrow as well. And we'll come to the injuries and the players missing for us in key areas tomorrow in a minute, but we're going to have to play at as high a tempo as we can, and I think a nice early goal would give us a control of the game that we're going to need, because you don't want to be chasing it going into the last 15-20 minutes like we were up there the last time we visited. So let's look at the Celtic team then. Brendan Rodgers confirming in today's press conference that it looks like Nicolas Kühn, who pulled out at the starting 11 on Wednesday against Dundee United, and Daizen Maeda are both doubtful for the game tomorrow. I mentioned yesterday in the video that Daizen Maeda looked like he was sort of feeling his groin just at full time there, as if he had a bit of tightness or he'd strained it a wee bit. So he's a doubt for tomorrow. Kühn's a doubt. He did say there's nothing long-term concerning and they should be back for Tuesday if they miss tomorrow, but that's a big problem for us because we've touched on it in the transfer content already this month. The wide areas are problematic for us when we're missing those first choice players who are Daizen Maeda and Nicolas Kühn. So Luis Palma, who I mentioned might be in line for a start tomorrow, he's also had a bereavement, so he's not going to travel with the squad. James Forrest is already out injured, so just like that, we find ourselves in a situation where we've got one fit and available winger to play tomorrow, and that's Yang. So we'll come to that area when we go through the team, but That is obviously a problem for us, and I think the manager's going to have to do some tinkering and move players around to try and deal with that. So we'll start in goals. It'll obviously be Casper Schmeichel. I'm going for an unchanged back four: Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty and Taylor. Surprisingly so, the manager went with an unchanged 11 on Wednesday, which he hasn't done very often this season at all, until obviously Kühn dropped out and Yang replaced him. But could we see a couple of changes in the back four? Maybe. Could the likes of Valle come in for a start? I know Taylor's played a lot of games, and we're talking about this fixture load for all the players. So I think there's a good argument to be made that some of the guys who have played 4, 5, 6 games in a row in such a short period of time, there is a case to be made for them coming out of the team and being replaced. Valle could be one of them. I'm just going with Taylor. And again, I think Trusty is going to get a wee run in the team now. I don't think there's any need to take him out after 2 games. And I think Johnson and Carter Vickers should be stick-ons to start. If we move into midfield, I'm going with Callum McGregor and I'm going Engels and Bernardo. I was going to put Hatate in. I need to be honest. Obviously, he gets the goal off the bench. And Wednesday, they had a really good finish. His left foot just guides it into the top corner. I actually think if you go back to that game on Boxing Day against Motherwell, he was really good off the bench that day as well. So maybe he's having a nice wee run as a sub in terms of keeping the intensity high for us and finding that bit of quality. But obviously he's struggled recently, particularly in the games he started, Ibrox being the most high profile one. He hasn't been in good form at all, Hatate, so I'm just going Bernardo. I did get that wrong. McCowan kept his place during the week. I thought Bernardo might come in. I'm going to go with Bernardo tomorrow because I think given these injuries in the forward areas, the manager's going to have to move some players around, and I've racked my brains, but all I can think that he might do is move Luke McCowan to the right hand side, which he did briefly on Wednesday night before he was subbed off. I know that coming through when he was playing at Ayr and even at Dundee, he had spells as a winger and as a number 10, Luke McCowan. If you remember the game up at Dingwall the last time, he came on to good effect for us and he gave us a bit of extra bite, and his intensity was good. He was good on the ball. He was positive. So I think he will start in this game, particularly given these problems we've got out wide. And he's maybe the only one who naturally could move out there. In terms of trying to think what else the manager could do, he could possibly start Alex Valle on the left wing and move Yang to the right hand side, and that would allow him all the normal options in midfield. I've seen a few people already saying could he change formation and play a diamond and go 2 up top with Ida and Kyogo. I don't quite see him doing that. I don't think you want to have a narrow game away to Ross County because they play a 5-4-1 and they really defend deep and pack the central areas with bodies. So I think you need width in the game. That's where the space is going to be. That's why I think the manager won't change his formation, so to speak. But I think McCowan might go to the right hand side. Yang will play on the left hand side. And again, to chop and change, I'm going Kyogo. I thought he might come back into the team during the week, but he didn't. Ida got another start. Could it be Ida to get a third start in a row? Again, we're just in this sort of strange position where neither of the strikers are really grabbing their opportunity with both hands, and a couple of wee question marks about the future of Kyogo, which we discussed yesterday with that strange MLS news article saying that he'd signed for Atlanta. They did delete it. They apologised. There's possibly nothing to it. I just think, given the changes in the front three tomorrow, we want some sort of movement. We're going to have to move Ross County around to try and create space. I think Ida started the last game up there as well. So, and Kyogo came on. He was involved in equaliser with a near post header. Actually, a near post header from a corner against Dundee United on Wednesday as well. It was a decent save he produced from the keeper. Again, you could toss a coin with the centre forwards just now as to who it's going to be. I think it will be Kyogo. This game, I suppose, can be awkward. As I've touched on the last time we went up there, we need a late winner. We've only a few minutes to go to win 2-1. Ross County have been in decent form. We're going up there Saturday morning, -7. I'm already dreading, already like mentally preparing myself for this drive up there first thing tomorrow morning. So it's going to be difficult conditions, difficult game, and key players out in the wide areas. So the team are going to have to come up with something and make sure they perform at a high level to get all 3 points. But there you go, that's the 11 I think the manager will go with. Please let me know what you think he'll do given the problems and injuries that we've got in the wide areas. Would you play McCowan there or would you do something different? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, please get your questions in for Sunday's Q&A as well. So we'll see you in Dingwall tomorrow after the game with the full-time reaction. Thank you.